Radio Sri Lanka.
Hello and welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are live here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Tilinu Deratna and joining me today at the news is Sharifa Tahir. Coming up are our top stories for tonight.
Minister Kanchana says the power interruption will not be extended. State funeral of former Prime Minister of Japan Shinzo Abe conducted with the participation of many state leaders. Japan expresses its willingness to take a leading role in Sri Lanka's creditor talks. Merchandise export earnings recorded a 10.24% increase in the last month. The first housing unit under the government program to extend houses for dollar payments sold. 2.8 billion worth firecrackers to chase away wild elephants per year. NASA's DART mission hits asteroid in first ever planetary defense test.
Well, first up for tonight, we take a look at some local stories. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says that the times of power interruption will not be extended until the Norochole power plant is restored. Minister Wijesekara said that the Public Utilities Commission has granted the approval for the Ceylon Electricity Board to purchase power from privately owned power stations until Norochole is restored. In a tweet, the minister said that the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation will provide the necessary diesel, naphtha and furnace oil requirements to the CEB. In a tweet, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the Ceylon Electricity Board has informed that Unit 3 of the Norochole power plant has been shut down due to a steam leak. The maintenance work is estimated to be completed in 3 to 5 days. Owing to the situation, fuel power plants will be utilized to manage the power generation activities until the repairs are completed, he added.
Moving on to more stories. With flowers, prayers and a 19-gun salute, Japan honored slain former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at the first state funeral for a former premier in 55 years.
Leaders from around the world were in Tokyo to pay tribute to the country's longest-serving Prime Minister.
The ceremony started with Abe's ashes carried into the Nippon Budokan Hall in central Tokyo by his widow to music from a military band and the booms of the honor guard salute which echoed inside the hall. Thousands of mourners flooded near the venue from early morning to pay their last respects. Only once before in Japan's post-war history has a politician been given a state funeral, and today's event to honor Abe has stirred huge controversy. The 67-year-old politician was assassinated in July, shot twice by a homemade gun. As Japan's leader from 2012 to 2020, Abe was a prominent figure on the world stage. It drew around 4,000 mourners, local and global leaders, notably from Japan's closest allies, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and US Vice President Kamala Harris. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also paid his tributes to the late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The president was accompanied by his chief of staff and advisor Sagala Ratnayaka. The ceremony drew to a close with the guests bowing and paying their last respects at the altar. Several political figures gave eulogies, including current Prime Minister Kishida and the former Prime Minister Suga. Their speeches emphasized Abe's global legacy. Japan expresses its willingness to take a leading role in Sri Lanka's creditor talks.
Japan has also welcomed Sri Lanka's progress with the International Monetary Fund. President Ranil Wickremesinghe held discussions with Japan's Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi this morning in Tokyo. President Wickremesinghe expressed regret over the breakdown of relations between Japan and Sri Lanka following the cancellation of several investment projects by the former government. The president stressed that he was keen to restart these projects. He also indicated that the government was interested in Japan investing in Sri Lanka's renewable energy projects. Japanese Foreign Minister Hayashi explained that Japan had increased its commitment to renewable energy and would be willing to explore future investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. The Foreign Minister also explained that Japan would begin the skilled worker examinations in January next year for Sri Lankan migrant workers. The president appreciated the support extended by Japan on the international stage and expressed the government's willingness to support both Japan's and India's campaign to become permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. The foreign minister welcomed the news, stressing that Asia required greater representation on the world stage. President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, in Tokyo today. During the discussions, President Wickremesinghe informed the Singaporean Prime Minister that an international trade office was being established in the President's office. He also explained that his priority was to bring into effect the free trade agreement with Singapore. Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong welcomed the news and stated that Singapore was looking forward to investing in Sri Lanka once again. President Wickremesinghe invited the Singaporean Prime Minister to visit Sri Lanka next year when the country celebrates its 75th independence anniversary.
Permanent representative of the United States to the United Nations agencies in Rome, Cindy McCain, and U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, engaged in a visit to Haggamuwa Sri Revata Ratnapala Vidyalaya today. They visited to observe the ongoing home gardening project initiated at the school, and this initiative has been carried out under the International Home Gardening Corporation program, jointly conducted by the United Nations Food Security Organization and Agri Advisory Council. This initiative has been carried out in 100 selected schools in Kuliapitiya Educational Zone. Accordingly, the envoys engaged in an observational tour at the Sri Revata Ratnapala Vidyalaya to look into the ongoing home gardening project. They pointed out that cooperation of the students is highly essential for home gardening cultivation.
Obviously, there's a lot going on with regard to the UN-funded projects, but as always, there's not enough. The United States most recently gave $40 million for fertilizer. So that will have an impact here on the lack of fertilizer and on the inability for our farmers that we just talked to grow. So that will help a great deal. Our emergency baskets that are coming are going to be helpful also. But there's also cash assistance going on in here too, and that's probably the most important thing we're going to be able to do. We just saw a mother of 4 that couldn't feed her family at all. Their kids went to bed hungry last night, and that's a common issue here in Sri Lanka. So we want to make sure that the United States continues to be not only supportive but proactive on all of the issues that face Sri Lanka with regards to food, agriculture, and hunger. Food security everywhere is a problem, and as you know, here there are 6.3 million people that are food insecure right now in Sri Lanka. So what we can do is continue what we're doing and expand, talk to our good friends at FAO, our partners at WFP, and other EFAD as well, to make sure that we're all working together for the same issues. And even though we have a war in Ukraine and lack of food in Ukraine, there are other countries like Sri Lanka that need help, and so we have not forgotten any of them.
The impact of the food insecurity in small towns, in schools like this, and talk to those people who are going through these hardships every day, and to make sure that our assistance, that every penny of our assistance gets into the hands of those who need it the most. And we have very strong partners, WFP, FAO, and others. We're making sure that our assistance is accounted for and to really help those people that we've met today. Everyone from the elderly to pregnant mothers to families, as Ambassador just said, who could not feed their children last night to go to bed.
President of the Asia Development Bank Masatsugu Asakawa says that the ADB is ready to provide further financial support to Sri Lanka. The president of the regional lender made these remarks while speaking to the media at the ADB annual gathering. The remarks came after an ADB pact this month for an emergency loan of $200 million to ensure access to food and protecting livelihoods after months of shortage in key essential items. ADB President Masatsugu Asakawa said that as a key long-term partner, the ADB stands ready to provide further support. Asakawa also said that he was confident Colombo was working to finalize a staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund for a loan of about $2.9 billion by seeking financing assurances from creditors, among other steps. After the IMF program is completed, the bank will consider joining another by providing additional financial resources to join other rescue packages for Sri Lanka, said Asakawa.
China pledges to support Sri Lanka in the process of debt restructuring process. Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Ki Zhenghong, reminded that his government supported Sri Lanka in many difficult times, including the COVID-19 pandemic, and will continue to assist the country to overcome the impending challenges. He made these remarks while speaking to the media following an event held in Colombo this evening.
IMF long-term loan with Sri Lanka?
Yeah. As we all know, China and Sri Lanka are traditional friends. Our relations is historical. We always support Sri Lanka. Whatever fight against COVID-19 or the reviving economy. As for the IMF related to the debt, I think two countries, relevant financial institute, they have communication, the channels. This is professional issues. I think both countries, the technicals, will deal with these issues properly and timely. Thank you.
The earnings from the merchandise exports have increased by 10.24% in August, recording a $1,213 million increase. This way, mainly due to the increase in earnings from export of apparel and textiles as per the data released by Sri Lanka Customs. Exports of apparel and textiles were increased by 15.03% to $563.37 million in August. Also, exports of services were increased by 5.58% to $1,310.05 million in August. The report on Sri Lanka's export performance for August 2022 stated that major services sectors, including information technology.
Celebrations for the World Tourism Day was held in Habarana today. The ceremony was held marking the World Tourism Day, and many local and foreign tourists were present at this occasion. The ceremony was held under the theme Let's Rethink and focused on the technological strategies required to select Sri Lanka as a tourist destination. The chief guest of the ceremony was State Minister Diana Gamage. houses belonging to the Urban Development Authority for dollar payments was carried out today.
And accordingly, the UDA has indicated that the relevant housing unit has been purchased at a cost of $40,000 by a Sri Lankan national working in Dubai. The Sri Lankan national has purchased a housing unit at the Viyatpura housing complex. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga took steps to extend the necessary facilities for Sri Lankans and workers abroad to purchase these houses in dollars. Accordingly, the Urban Development Authority provided a 10% discount to those who buy houses worth dollars in middle-income housing projects built by the authority. The 15.8 million rupees worth two-bedroom unit at the Viyatpura housing complex was purchased at a rate of 14.2 million rupees with a discount. Many Sri Lankan and workers abroad have applied to purchase housing units under this initiative. The Ministry of Urban Development and Housing expects to fulfill the target of $275,000 by December through this project. The ministry has indicated that this scheme was designed as a solution to the prevailing dollar crisis in the country. 2 middle-income housing projects implemented by the Urban Development Authority has been completed so far. The completed Boralo Oval View housing project and the Angora Lake Rest project each consists of 500 housing units. Currently, 12 more middle-income housing projects are under construction. A total of 3,667 housing units will be built to meet the housing requirements. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena received a donation of life-saving medicines worth $10 million from the Direct Relief USA to be distributed among the hospitals in Sri Lanka.
The handing over was held at the Prime Minister's office in Colombo with the participation of the Direct Relief USA Emergency Response Manager, Chris Alleyway. The Prime Minister said that the health authorities would immediately supply this medicine to the hospitals faced with the shortage. Emergency Response Manager Alleyway said that Direct Relief USA selected medicine needed at Sri Lankan hospitals after close coordination with the Ministry of Health. And he pointed out that Sri Lanka boasts of an excellent health service with adequate hospitals and medical personnel across the country, and the main drawback is the shortage of medicine due to the economic crisis. While the government took steps to import medicine immediately, such donations from allies of Sri Lanka would be of much help to fulfill immediate requirements. Communication coordinator of the Medical Help Sri Lanka Global Alliance, Paddy Disanaika, together with the members of Sri Lanka associations, jointly work with various humanitarian and organizations in the US, United Kingdom, Canada, Malaysia and several other countries. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has directed authorities to issue instructions that consist of primary details to the Rural Economic Revival and Food Security Committees initiated in the Gram Niladhari divisions. All relevant state institutions should intervene in releasing uncultivated lands which are yet to be utilized for cultivation. The development of plantations and agri-sectors at the grassroots level has been aligned with this program.
The statue of Srimat Anagarika Dharmapala, built at the Pitipana Mahinda Rajapaksa Vidyalaya in Homagama to commemorate his 158th birth anniversary, was unveiled today. The event was held with the participation of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The statue of Anagarika Dharmapala was built with the personal donations extended by founder of the college, Minister Bandula Gunawardena. Parliamentarian Yadamini Gunawardena was present at the occasion. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that he followed the ideology of Anagarika Dharmapala when he was the education minister of the country. He said that they were able to allow students who had failed maths in GCE O-level and with various creative skills to pursue GCE A-levels. He said that they also introduced information technology, engineering technology and biosystem technology to the syllabus. He also added that they introduced Mahindodaya Technological Faculty and Mahindodaya Technological Laboratories, which have created a new generation of students and professionals.
තාක්ෂණය සඳහා විද්‍යාව ඇතුළු තාක්ෂණික විෂය ධාරාව හඳුන්වා දුන්නා. එහිදී මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ විද්‍යාලය තමයි ප්‍රථම මහින්දෝදය තාක්ෂණික පීඨය සහ මහින්දෝදය තාක්ෂණික විද්‍යාගාරය ඉදිවුනේ. එය අද මේ රටේ සුවාසක් දරුවන්ටත් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පද්ධතිය තුලත් තාක්ෂණ පීඨ ආරම්භ වෙමින් තාක්ෂණය ව්‍යාප්ත වෙනවා.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that Srimati Anagarika Dharmapala once stated that the upcoming period is always a challenging time. Accordingly, he said that the present generation should have a foresight to create a better future in the country.
The Korean Film Festival 2022, jointly organized by the Korean Embassy in Colombo together with the Korean Film Council, was held at the BMICH recently. The three-day festival was held in an effort to share the rich cinematic culture of Korea, adored by a global fan base including Sri Lanka. The festival was held after a lapse of 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Korean Film Festival comprises 4 critically acclaimed Korean movies including Wonderful Nightmare, The Face Reader, Sunset in My Hometown and Lucky Chansil. In commemoration of the 45th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Korea and Sri Lanka, the Korean Embassy has organized a series of special cultural events including the Korean Lantern Festival, Quiz on Korea, World K-pop Festival and Korean Ambassadors Taekwondo Championship to enhance cooperation between the nations and many more.
I would like to convey my congratulations to Sri Lankan teams for winning the Asia Cup Cricket and Netball Championships recently this year. I'm sure these wonderful victories upgraded the prestigious stage of Sri Lanka. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Sri Lankan people. I celebrate together with you, Supetu. This year, the inauguration of the Korean Film Festival is more special than ever before for many reasons. Korean Film Festival in Sri Lanka is relaunched after a hiatus of 2 years. Due to COVID-19 pandemic throughout the world, the film festival could not be held in 2020 and 2021. Moreover, the return of the Korean Film Festival this year coincides with this year's 45th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our two countries, Korea and Sri Lanka and Korea.
The Republic of Korea is a country to be emulated by countries like ours. All nations have to lot to learn from it. It has developed an entertainment industry that includes film and teledramas of global fame. When considering the extent and depth of enthusiasm and interest created among Sri Lankans in Korean teledramas by R.I.C. Sujata D.N.E. or Jewel in the Palace or the national televisions, I firmly believe that Korean Film Festival 2022, which beginnings today, we make a similar impact on Sri Lanka's movie goers, cinema industry and actors alike. The festival will be an impetus in future improving mutual beneficial relations between our two countries.
Korea and Iran are considered as best filmmaking countries in the Asian region, and I'm sure our film fans will embrace this great opportunity we got as a gift of love to enjoy 4 very beautiful Korean films on the big screen in a very difficult period we are walking through as Sri Lankans.
In the meantime, the U.S. branch of the Medical Help International Organization has extended $10.1 million worth humanitarian donations, which consisted of emergency medicines to Sri Lanka yesterday. The event was held at the Medical Supply Unit premises. The medicine consignment was received by Minister Keheliya Ramukwela. Medical Help International Organization has indicated that another donation worth $10.2 million consists of essential medicines will also be extended within this week. The total amount of essential medical supplies extended to Sri Lanka in various occasions have exceeded 7.6 billion rupees. Direct Relief USA Emergency Response Manager Chris Alleve and Senior Communication Specialist of the Direct Relief USA Emergency Response, Maeve O'Connor, were present at this occasion. decision. The relevant reliefs have been extended with the mediation of founder of Medical Help International Organization, Ayusha Amarikon, and its international coordinator, Padmini Dasanayaka. The medical supply unit has indicated that the relevant essential medicines consignment will be distributed among hospitals.
State Minister Ranjit Siyambalapitiya says that alcohol consumption in the last 3 quarters have declined by 20 to 30%. He pointed out that many issues, including the current prevailing situation in the country, have impacted this condition. The State Minister made these remarks while engaging in an observational tour at the Excise Department. Excise Commissioner General N.J. Gunasiri was present at this occasion. The State Minister directed strict attention on the operations centre at the Excise Department. Issues pertaining to the department and the current progress were discussed during the visit. In other news, a member of the Tamuttegama Pradeshiya Sabha has been arrested in connection with the attempted robbery of 22.3 million rupees yesterday afternoon in front of a private bank in Tamuttegama.
4 suspects related to the incident have been remanded until October 10th by Tamuttegama magistrate. The incident had occurred yesterday afternoon when the businessman had arrived at the bank in his car to deposit approximately 22.3 million rupees, and 2 armed men wearing motorcycle helmets had arrived on a motorcycle and robbed the bags containing the cash from the victim. However, as they were attempting to escape with the stolen cash, a police officer, Police Sergeant Buddhika Kumaro, was on duty nearby, had witnessed the incident and proceeded to act swiftly and intercept the suspects and had attempted to apprehend them as well. The suspect wielding the firearm had also attempted to shoot him. Despite pulling the trigger, the 12-bore rifle had not discharged. Meanwhile, the residents also have come to the aid of the police officer and prevented the suspects from escaping. The 2 suspects, aged 48 and 50, are residents of the same area. The police also seized a 12-bore firearm, 12-bore ammunition and a mana knife from their possession. According to reports, preliminary inquiries have uncovered that one of the arrested suspects is a private security guard employed at the bank branch in question. Tamuttegama police have launched further investigations into the incident. Meanwhile, Police Sergeant Buddhika Kumara has been bestowed with honour and appreciation for averting such a massive robbery, as per the police headquarters.
The Department of Wildlife says the government spends 2.8 billion rupees for firecrackers per year to chase wild elephants away. Accordingly, a total of 1.4 million firecrackers are required in a year for this purpose. The firecrackers required to chase wild elephants away are purchased from local firecracker industrialists. The wild elephant invasions have been mainly caused from illegal encroachments, cultivation activities and food shortages caused from releasing cattle in forest areas. The villagers have claimed that wildlife authorities have failed to extend their support to chase the invading elephants from their lands. It was revealed during a meeting held between Minister Mahinda Amaravira and officials of the Wildlife and Forest Conservation Ministry. Wildlife officers claim that they are unable to visit the villagers frequently due to the limits placed on the fuel quota. That's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow at the same time. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great night.